So welcome everyone to the Co-Creators Convergence third Thursday call, which is being held second Thursday this 14th day of December 2017. I'm Noelle Marshall, and with my beloved here.
Hi everyone, I'm Bob.
And together we call ourselves
Life Partners.
So wasn't that cute? We do like to have a good time here. So thank you all for coming. We have a wonderful, wonderful guest who's been very active on our Facebook and doing a lot of Facebook Live events herself. But we'll introduce her in just a moment. But Bob is going to tell you a little bit about the Co-Creators Convergence.
A few of you are new here to our community, and we're very, very happy that you're here. The Co-Creators Convergence is a heart-resonant community of uniquely gifted souls dedicated to embodying and amplifying our collective consciousness, thereby co-creating a world that works for everyone. And we do this with great love, compassion, and joy, honoring all realms of creation to accelerate the awakening of humanity. And we welcome all of you to become permanent parts of this community. We would love to have you join us. There's 4 ways that we stay connected as a community. One are these third Thursday of the month calls, which we have been doing with Zoom technology for the last year and a half. Prior to that, we were using just telephone, but all of those are recorded all the way back to the beginning of 2014. All of our third Thursday calls are on our website, which is the second way to connect. Our website is co-creatorsconvergence.com. And like I say, everything is archived there. Also information about our upcoming event. Our third way of connecting is our very active, as Noelle mentioned, our very active Facebook page. And we welcome everyone to be a part of that as well. And the fourth way is we just can't resist being in the same room. So many of us get together and sit in circle once a year. This coming year on May 30th through June 3rd. We'll be at Sunrise Ranch for the 6th year, just outside of Loveland, Colorado. And we want you to know that we would love to have you sitting in that circle. It's a place where we recognize that everyone is a co-creator with spirit and with others on this human journey. That it's not about having speakers at the front of the room and presentations, but it's about us being in circle and amplifying the work that we're doing, the work that others are doing in the world that casts the bright shadow.
So,
Noelle?
Thank you, Bob. I'm going to turn it over now to Kathy Mason, who is a very active member. I consider her a founding member of the Co-Creators Convergence.
And here comes Mark.
Hey, Bob. All right, I'm going to mute you two. I'm trying to be serious here. Hey, Barb. So, Kathy Mason has brought so many wonderful, wonderful guests and to our calls, and that's because she works with so many wonderful people to bring their spiritual gifts, whether it's through a book or through presentations or whatever. So she's a marketing genius. So masonworksmarketing.com. So, and she's also she and Ted both were very instrumental in keeping the Co-Creators Convergence gathering in Loveland, Colorado alive. So there was a time where we thought about not doing it anymore because we didn't know whether there was interest, and they just stepped up, and it's completely transformed. And last year was the first year we actually had to turn people away. So it's going to be a great year.
And we will again this year.
Yeah, it's going to be maxed out at 60 people. So there's information on our website. There will be on our Facebook page. And so without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Kathy, who is going to introduce our special guests. Yay!
Oh, wonderful. Well, I want to welcome all of you to the Co-Creators Convergence family, and especially want to invite you to experience Jade Rehder. Jade is an alchemic transformational coach, empath whisperer, certified energy coach, shamanic practitioner, and that means North American, South American, and Hawaiian shamanic practitioner. Advanced practitioner of ancient Hawaiian huna, I can't pronounce it, and I'm sorry, Jade, and a founder of a new healing technology called KLEAR. and it's KLEAR. And I can tell you that the clears are the most powerful healing modality I've ever experienced. And they are, because of Jade's 17 years of study and transformational work, when you're in her presence, you definitely feel that she is a high vibrational being. And I'm so, so honored to have her here with all of us. And I know the people on the replay will even feel her powerful energy. So Jade, I'd love to ask you to please do a centering for us. And you can, as I said, go as fifth dimensional as you would like. And then when you're done, be happy to, we can go back and forth asking some questions, okay?
Mahalo, beautiful. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you everyone for allowing me to be here and share. Aloha kako, which is hello everyone. Let's just all close our eyes. Feel yourself right where you are. Feet on the ground if they are so. Notice where you're touching something physical. And just allow yourself to notice how very, very large your energy field is. So as you allow yourself to connect into your cosmic field, your universal field, your spiritual field, your mental field, your emotional field, and your physical energy field. Notice how you can take it in even further. I'll count you in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As you center into your God spark, into your God self here and now, remember you are infinite, connected, intuitive, expressive, loved, and loving, powerful, and worthy, creative, and deserving. You're safe and you belong as you are grounded and present in this moment. Wow, what a powerful group. There is a lot of high vibration in the house.
I told you you should come to this. I told you.
It's on my calendar.
Okay, good. Oh, good. Okay.
I'm back, and it's on my calendar, I promise.
Good. Good. Okay. So, Jade, you call yourself an empath whisperer, and I say that you're an evolutionary empath person that teaches how to be an evolutionary empath. So could you explain about being an empath and how you discovered that for yourself?
Absolutely. So I've been an empath since I was born. I was awake in my lower chakras. I was a natural knower, feeler, hearer, and seer. When I was 10, I turned off my knowing and hearing because I was able to give way too much information for anyone to be comfortable around me. At 33, I turned those back on. At about 35, someone told me, by the way, you're an empath. And I didn't understand what that meant. And so fast forward now, 16, 17 years. And for me, an empath is someone who's awakened to their natural gifted beyond the physical realm perception. In fact, it's not truly extrasensory because these are our natural senses. And for me, we're on an empowered path. That M part goes with empowered. and we're really on a path. You may, if you look online, you can see lots of things as far as the definition. A gentleman about 20 years ago, and his name has escaped me at the moment, decided to make the word empath for those of us who have lots of empathy. Yet it's so much more than just feeling others' emotions or others' pain or others' mental stress or whatever. It's well beyond that. That's kind of the grade school version of an empath from my perspective, and that's what I can share around that. I believe everybody's way of perceiving it is absolutely correct for them. So.
Well, a lot of your work that I love is based on helping empaths be able to use their extrasensory perception as a gift rather than a curse, because many times the people that are so sensitive, they have a terrible time even being in crowds. I sometimes when you're doing your lives and you're saying, I'm in the airport and this is how you deal with this. And so can you explain as far as that journey about helping empaths with their gifts?
Absolutely. In about 2005, I started writing simplified versions of spiritual practices that I found in all different ancient ways or all different types of access. And what I did is I simplified them and did my best to make them something that regular people could understand, someone that necessarily wasn't on a metaphysical path even. And so I did that for quite some time, and I taught groups and did different evolutionary things. In 2014, I had activated my personal pain body to the point where I didn't recognize myself. I'm stomping around. I was here on Hawaii Island in the same town I'm in right now, and I was stomping around, screaming up at what for me is the universe, God, the divine creator, and asking, who is this? Because this isn't me. And I heard, you need to get sovereignty. You need to figure out who you are. And as a naturally connected, over-connected for me person, I spent 36 days creating emotional independence and self-sovereignty. And that really gave me the capacity to take things a lot further as far as what I taught others, because most of us empathic people or naturally sensitive in any way allow the people around us or the situations around us to be the thermostat or the dimmer switch. And if somebody we're with is up, we're up. If somebody is down, we're down. And the capacity to at least manage that 85% of the time has really supported me in living my talk. So for me, it's learn it or become aware of it, live it, and then share it or teach it. Because I feel that I have a huge integrity edge. So if those of you who understand numerology, which is something else I do, I'm a 2911, so I don't know how to do it any other way. So there's my journey. I mean, I was just doing a bit on narcissists and empaths yesterday and had to own how I had attracted some amazing narcissists in my life and had totally not even seen it like that till I started looking through those lenses at life. And so that's actually, Kathy, who's the marketing person, doesn't really know this, but where it feels like Spirit is taking me is really helping people notice what they're allowing in their lives a lot more.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So could you, again, I'm a huge fan of this modality that Jade has created called KLEARs. I was in one of her first groups that we went deep. I mean, it was 5 weeks, I think, or 6 weeks. Oh my God. Anyway, so could you explain to everyone how you discovered the KLEARs, how they came to you, please?
Sure. KLEAR with the capital, it's all caps and starts with the high magic K, is really a culmination of 17 years of study and listening. So in early 2016, I met an alchemist. A friend brought him into the store I was working in and said, you need to talk to him because you can understand him and I can't. And I said, okay. So I start talking to him and we have this conversation, and I hear, I'm super clairaudient, I hear he will bring you information for the modality you bring out into the world. I think, okay. And we keep talking. And I end up working with him for about 6 months, really helping him. And he lived on Mount Shasta. I lived in Ashland. I was up in Mount Shasta working in a different crystal store. He owned a crystal store. I'd walk into his crystal store. I'd sell crystals. We'd start playing with different energies. And there were these high vibrational energies we were playing with, but we couldn't figure out how to bring them out into the world because literally our fingertips would get to be 350 degrees. I mean, our fingertips would be burning when we're working physically on each other. And we're like, okay, we can't have regular people who don't know how to hold their fingertips do this. Like, people are going to get injured. And fast forward about 4 months, and he calls me up and he says, I know how to get rid of our ego. And I'm like, okay, how do we do that? And he said, you know these energies we've been working with? I go, yeah. And he goes, call them to call this energy together, ask this to find this, and then ask this to replace it. And, you know, in a few days after you've sat with it, decide if that works. I'm rapid perpetual, and I'm real specific. It took me 20 minutes. And I had agreement that it was okay to do this. Now, I did the clear of my ego on myself. I heard, again, clairaudient, I heard I would lay down if I was you. I was really excited because I've been working with higher energies for over a decade, so I don't feel much in my physicality anymore, but I was feeling stuff in my body, so I was pumped. 3.5 hours later, after I laid my head down because I listened, I woke up. It took me about 4 days to recalibrate. I don't do that level of clear on anyone, just, oh, by the way, but this is how you asked how I discovered it. This is how I discovered it. So clear is a transcendent modality. I use your highest consciousness energy to work with you. I'm a guide. And then we work on healing and awakening energy. So it's beyond just taking dirty dishwater and replacing it with clean, warm, soapy, clean dishwater. If we were to look at energy as dishwater, it is actually getting your energy transcended and then healing what the old imprint or interference has created. And then it's awakening. This is my favorite part, the divine energies inside you. And these are the good ways of being, feeling, and experiencing life. Because we naturally store the negative, the painful, and the hurtful, charged. Yet the good feeling things we express, and then they're not in us. We've went through them. So that's what I'm so excited about with Clear is I've been someone who has worked on getting rid of patterns and those kind of things since 2005. And with Clear, I can take it the opposite way. So anything interfering between you and living whatever, living your dream, actualizing your passion, whatever it is, it's different than just getting rid of a pattern,
right?
Or getting rid of a behavior.
Well,
it's a combo of a lot of things. It's my ascension training, my la'au kahea, which is what Kathy couldn't say, which is called your higher self. My la'au kahea training in Hawaii, and the alchemy. So it's really a combo of a lot of things put into one.
It's so wonderful. So Jade, the next question I have for you, and then of course we'll be taking questions from everyone in the group, but I just want to get your definition of 5D living.
Thank you. And it's interesting because I really struggled with this for a few years. I lived on Mount Shasta, had a lot of friends who believed some of us were going to turn gold, and then we were going somewhere. And this is 2012, 2013, and I'm like, man, I don't get that. But I can be wrong. I'm totally cool with being wrong at this point in life. It took me a long time to get out of that pattern of need to be right. So now that I can be wrong, I'm super good with it. And they kept saying that. And I also had friends who were telling me that people couldn't see past 12/21/12. The seers couldn't see. Are we going to all leave? And I'm like, I can feel past it. And I know past it. So I don't get that. So for me, fifth dimensionality is a consciousness. And it is remembering more and more and more of who we are. Remembering that ecology, right? Like my choices affect more than this being. And it's staying in the co-creative modality of creation. For me, the third dimensional consciousness, vast majority of it is stuck in the default creation mode. You notice I use that word on purpose. It's tough for me to use. I got to watch my words. So the modes, right? So 5D is consciously co-creating, staying in possibility, and truly staying in your center during storms, no matter what they are, dramas. Today there were 3 major dramas going on around me, and I'm literally sitting in a chair in the middle of one of them, just observing how the energy swirls around me instead of affecting me. So for me, that is living 5D. It by no means does it mean it's perfect. I was looking at universal law today while I was doing a training, and I'm like, man, the law of cycles still applies in 5D living. Okay, it does. We live by universal law in 5D as opposed to society laws. And I don't mean like law enforcement. I mean like belief system laws, like societal universal law. They don't really go together. They're kind of like, they have values, levels, issues.
Right.
They phase, as my alchemist friend Maziba says. They phase, they don't work together. So does that answer it, Kathy?
Yes, I think so. Well, why don't we see what questions like that? I have other questions we could ask, but let's open it up. Is that okay, Noelle? I think I need your help to do that since I'm not running.
Okay, I'm going to put this into gallery view, and what I have done, I because there was some background noise, I kind of had to hide the people who were not video. So there are quite a few more people on the call.
Get them back.
Maybe I'll see if I can bring them in. Okay.
Sure.
So one way we can do this is that if you want to use the chat, because there's quite a few of us on here, about 20 of us on here. So if you want to submit a question through chat, you can. Another way to do that, if you have a question formulated and I can see you, raise your hand and we'll take the video folks first. So with that, if you raise your hand, then I will unmute you and we can go there. So does anyone have any comment, question? Okay, I'm seeing Renee. No. Okay, she's now muted. Okay, now I got Shanti Hart, Chicago. Go.
Hi, thank you for being here, Jade. My question is on I was interested in what you were saying about the CLEAR process. Number one, how you spell it, except beyond that starts with a K. And is it like a treatment, or is it a workshop, or is it an ongoing, or can you just zap someone in one day or an hour or whatever?
Wow, that is really well questioned. Thank you. It is KLEAR, just like we changed the C to a K, and that wasn't my idea. That was Spirit's idea. It can be done 2 ways when I do it. I have audio recordings that people can get in sets. And those are usually for like the natural energies that we store, negative emotions, and the natural life energies that we store. I call that one, it's feel good now, but it's really about everyday maintenance. So they are about 8 to 12 minutes long. So that's all the longer the clear portion is. When I work with someone one-on-one, we do a discovery to find out what we're really going after. Because a lot of times we have symptomology, right, that shows up in our life, but that isn't cause. So we work at a causal level and beyond. Clear works outside of the mind construct and the karmic construct. So we're working outside of the in one of my studies, outside of the 24th dimension. So we're working well outside of where karma runs. And at this point, it is not a workshop. There will be a practitioner level of training for it in 2018, because I feel it's a modality that many people who coach and do healing could add into what they're doing, because it's, Kathy says I'm not a whisperer because it's very, very strong as far as the results that it gets. From my experience, it's a gentle way to awaken and become the word. It's going to become more clear, right? Become a clearer channel of it. And I can do it silently, where we find it and I go through and you just sit and feel what happens. So that's kind of more of a healing approach to it. Or I can do it as a meditation, yet I ask your thinking mind to just watch the energy change. So it's not something you have to keep up with me on. Experiencing it is pretty much the best way for you to understand how a clear works. And on my website, there is an offer to access one for free. Did I answer your question, Shanti?
Yes.
So also, just so you know, there are groups on Facebook that Jade does these clearings, and she's very generous with sharing her knowledge and these clears. So a lot of times you can follow her on Facebook. She also has a group that is a amazing resource. Do you want to awaken? Do you want to talk about?
Oh, you mean so I do a group coaching. It's called Awaken to the Power Within. The next time we start that fresh again is in January. I take people through a 90-day acceleration of consciousness, and that's a super high touch environment. If you're available, we're together 4 days a week for about a half an hour. There's a couple members that are here with us right now. And Kathy mentioned my Facebook group, Empath Step Into Your Power, does have some clears in it. I've done clear anxiety in there. I think there's a couple other clears that I've done in there. There's a couple, if you go to the video tab, that's where you can see things. It's just not as easy to search. My YouTube page is probably easier to find it on, which is my name, Jade Rehder. So
Jade, to clarify about CLEAR,
excellent.
It is not a acronym for something.
It is not. I've played with that, Bob, but it's not an acronym for something. It was literally what Spirit wants, is to clear us up so that we can really see what we're up to and maybe what we've been ignoring.
I'm wondering if you say there are some folks on the call here who have experienced CLEAR besides Kathy. We know Kathy did it.
I'm happy for that.
If they would want to share anything about their experience with it, because Guy, or I don't know whether you've been through it.
Stephanie's just coming back. Steph, are you there?
Oh, there she is. Let me unmute her.
I see fingers.
I think we're both trying.
Hello.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hello.
Could you speak to your experience with CLEAR and Jade, please?
I sure can.
Yay.
Let's put it this way. How I found her was, of course, Spirit involved completely. I was trying to delete an email and her little face showed up somehow on my screen. So that right there, was fortuitous for me. And then I think I think the clear was the absolutely first thing I did with you.
Yep.
The first time I came in, and I had some blocks with actually putting my art, my healing abilities, myself out there.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see, how long have we been working? Like 3 months now?
3 months, about 2 or 3 months.
3 months. And this week I just posted my art. Well, and then she inspired me to do art for her. And that inspired me to actually get out there. Because of the clears, I don't feel any blocks. I don't feel the intrepidation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm good with being me. I mean, full out me, which is pretty out there anyway. But I'm comfortable with that now, as opposed to a form of hiding, to not really be seen, to work in the shadows, but, you know, not really be seen and acknowledged for my gifts, my talents, and the power that I personally hold, and that I have to share. And from the clears, and we've done a whole bunch of them, and each time, I mean literally each time, there's a shift, a big shift.
Wow.
To where, you know, you actually feel it, and then you experience it. It's like, you know, the proof is in the pudding.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the pudding's pretty proofed.
Foolproof pudding.
100-proof.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's good pudding. Trust me.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
That's really wonderful.
I'm going to go to phone call, folks.
Yeah. Does anybody else want to share or ask a question, comment? Okay, I'm going to go to Justin here. Unmute you. There you go. Yeah. Take it away, Justin.
So Jade, my takeaway of something that you said was about accessing our highest capacities goes beyond just replacing old patterns. And I'm in the process of just recognizing these patterns that I have, and been really fascinated with the work that I'm doing at looking at them and working through those. But you're saying, oh, there's much more to it than just the replacing of the patterns. And could you share a bit more about that, please?
Sure. In my experience, thanks for the question, Justin. I replaced a ton of patterns in my life, a lot. And I still got knocked to my knees, went through my dark night of the soul. And we all are going to do that in our own way. Yet when you've done your work and you're like, what in the world is this gremlin still doing in my existence? You know, when we can transcend it. So a lot of modalities, a lot of way of working with things will shift them to a point. In my personal experience, awareness is 40 to 50% of it. As soon as you've got an awareness of something, you can make a pivotal choice change, or you can reframe, you can choose a different behavior or a different thought, different feeling, right? Yet we've got some core things that are going on in the background. We've got so much that goes on beyond our awareness. So much is beyond what we could ever access with our intellect. And you'll notice I'm using different words than many of you are used to. I am trained to use those other words, yet I've shifted it because I'm all about consciousness. And the way hypnotherapy, NLP, and most of those things speak of our consciousnesses is upside down and backwards. And I knew that 18 years ago when I started studying that stuff the first time. Mm-hmm. So our intellect can only bring so much into awareness. NLP will tell you that it's about 7 bits of information per second, but we have 2,000 available to come up, and depending upon the quantum physicist you believe, 4 to 400 billion going on at the same time. So we're working with that bigger field of ourselves when we're doing a clear. We're also working beyond just our soul's work. We're working within our DNA, our ancestry, our conscious connection to the collective, that many of us have a very super expanded connection into the collective itself. And CLEAR works through all of that. I don't say everything I'm doing, I can't. Our intellect gets too involved. Yet we're working well beyond. So, you know, the awareness of the patterns and what you're doing is fantastic. Good job. It's transcending that so that you're holding more of your highest consciousness embodied, which really allows, and there's the key piece, everybody. Kathy's over there like shaking her head. It's embodiment. We don't get fifth dimensional as far as being able to live in it the vast majority of the time unless we're embodied. And you are talking to a Pisces who has 4 things in Pisces. Only my sun and then 3 other planets are in Pisces. So believe me, not being here was so easy, so easy. And CLEAR helps you deal with the stuff that's preventing you from being a grounded, present, embodied, ascended person. One of the comments that I get from people are, wow, I can't believe how present you are. And I will tell you that I had done a ton of work since 1999 on myself, but until I started doing CLEARs and doing the work at the level that they work at, I was probably 25% present. Now I'm like 87% present. I mean, I still have my times. Does that answer your question, Justin?
Yeah, that gives me some idea there. I guess in my experience, I've found that when I work with someone and they say, I'm going to take care of your healing, you just sit back, I got this. I have not been as engaged as when someone shows me about what it is that I can do to actually do work on myself. What is the role of the person going through healing working with you on a CLEAR?
That's a great question. I'm not doing the work. You're doing the work. I'm guiding. And I teach, when I work with private clients or even in groups, I teach people self-regulating energy practices all the time. So I give people tools to continually be working on themselves because I believe no one should be your go-to person except you. There are no gurus. You are, it's in you. CLEAR works at the level of the consciousness of the person facilitating. And you may have greater access than I do. And if you were to train with me to be a practitioner, you may be able to do it at a higher level than I do. I don't know. It wouldn't be for me to say, right? I can only see through my lens from where I am. So I do teach people a lot of things to do in themselves. And some people actually are able to sit with themselves. And because the body-mind knows how to go through energy, can work on themselves, again, at the level that they can access. Am I making sense there? So I hear what you're saying. You don't want to be dependent on anyone, and you don't want anyone doing it for you. There's no spiritual bypassing with CLEAR. Just to be understood here, I don't believe spiritual bypass exists. You know why? Don't work. It doesn't work. People talk about it. Your intellect can think you spiritually bypass something, but then you're going to get a reminder. I don't believe that your highest consciousness would ever take anything out of your way that you needed to evolve to where you're going.
Right. Absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else have a question, comment? Okay, I'm going to unmute Carrie from Arizona. Carrie.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. I've been an empath all my life. I didn't know what it was until I was about maybe 12 or 13. And I figured it out myself after reading a book about hypnosis. And one of the problems that I had for the longest time was that I was relying on my empathic senses to get through things I didn't like, manipulating conditions and situations. And I had to come to an understanding that not only was that not ethical, but it wasn't really helping me at all. And I hear that in you. I hear that. You know, when I studied hypnosis, one of the things that I said to my husband, we were studying it together, I says, we need to learn how to use this to empower people, not to just teach people how not to do things, you know, or how to get out of a habitual problem that they're dealing with. We need to empower them to find a way that they can take the steps we give them and find it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard that in you. And I feel such a connection to you. I don't know what that is, but I guess it's a good thing. I'm just really fascinated by all of this, because for the longest time I felt so alone. I felt like I was wandering in the desert for 40 years and 40 nights. It was just like it never ended. And then this last year I went through a real traumatic period of time where I had terrible difficulty controlling what happened from my childhood, causing PTSD, and I kept getting triggered by the outside events in the world, and I had to shift. I had to find another way to work through that, and I began using my empathic capacity to reach forward and see that what I was afraid of hadn't happened yet. So that I could say to myself, in the foreseeable future, you're okay. You know, and what isn't foreseeable, you don't need to know about yet, because if you did, you'd know.
Right.
And so these are the things that I use to help myself through that, and that I'm trying to help other people that I work with to use too. It's something that you have to do for yourself. Nobody can do it for you.
Absolutely. And you brought up something really important, Carrie. A lot of naturally empathic people are master manipulators. And there's two sides of a coin, in my opinion, just my opinion. Narcissist, empath. Here's how I see it. Wounded wounder, narcissist. Wounded healer, empath. Okay? And sometimes that coin's sitting on its side. Mm-hmm. And I have had to own when I was really good at getting my way. Because I could make you feel a way by projecting that feeling towards you. And I learned from some of the best. My parents are very unmanaged, empathic people. And, you know, I had to take in and reel all those kind of things in. And I met this young man not long ago, and he goes, I met someone else and they told me I'm an empath. And he goes, I figured I had to stop doing what I was doing. He was literally hooking people and then getting them to do what he wanted them to do. And he was like, whoa, that is not cool, is it? And I'm like, not at all. Not at all. So, you know, it is a gift. And like you just pointed out, we can feel ahead. A lot of naturally empathic and sensitive people, though, I see this pattern, and it's fear. And for me, fear is frantic energy affecting results or reality. Creates anxiety, fear of place in the future. Creates worry, which creates stress, which creates dis-ease. No matter what that dis-ease is, it doesn't have to be a malady of the body, but it can be, you know, panic attacks. It can be all these things. Mm-hmm. And if we just go back to stop stepping into the frantic energy affecting our reality, fear, mm-hmm. we are in a place of power and that place of choice. And that's what's so interesting to me. So I feel a connection to everyone. This group is super powerful. I love this. I mean, if you can, I'm on Hawaii, right? I'm on crystallized fire, and the fire coming up in me is like off the hook. And it's like 60 degrees in here. Okay. And I'm not embarrassed. So I'm like, I need ice cubes. Like, whoa. Like technically, I know it's Noelle and Bob's job to hold the space with Kathy, but I don't know how not to hold space. Empaths naturally hold space.
Yeah. Wow,
so
that's great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie.
Okay, anyone else like to put a question or comment in the chat or interact with our beloved guest, Jade? And
I want to take a couple people off that are on the phone.
Okay,
I
I'm
saw
gonna.
Guy raise his hand before, but I don't see it come up again, so maybe not.
Guy, you ready to go?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
he's
did
ready.
raise. Yeah, I just wanted to share that I had one clear experience with Jade on a. It was just a regular coaching session, and then we hit on something that bothered me, and she said, well, why don't we do a clear on this? And I said, well, why not? And so we did. And it's very interesting because all I remember is that at the end of it, I just went, ah. As she explained earlier, it's all gone. I don't even remember what it was about. Now, I have the recording, but I have absolutely no inkling to look at it because it's gone.
Yeah. It's great. Wow, that's wonderful.
Thank
That's
you.
wonderful. That's great.
And I don't remember what anyone clears because I don't want to hold on to what they no longer want to experience.
So Jade, the process of the clear,
Mm-hmm.
is it all done by personal coaching with you, or you said something about 8 minute
They're about 8 to 12 minutes. It kind of depends upon how much Spirit's bringing in for me to add in to the awakening usually.
Can you do one, please?
Can I? I can.
Yeah. How about something about getting through the holidays, or something
Or
like
you
that?
clear this whole group, huh?
Or creating awesomeness,
Co-creating an
fifth
awesome
dimensional
year.
living in 2018.
That's where I'm at. Let's clear any interference between living in 5D in 2018. That sounds almost like we could be a tagline on something, right?
Sounds good to me.
Stephanie described my ideal client, everyone. My ideal client is someone who's got gifts to bring out into the world, and there's something holding them back from doing that. I held myself back for 12 years. And so I know what it's like to hold yourself back. So those are my favorite people to work with because it allows me to take what I had life experience and also the other gifts that I have and support them in moving forward. So to answer Nicole's question before we go through it clear, there are recordings available to be purchased, single and sets. There's individual coaching sessions that come in 3-month segments. I don't normally do a one-off, but for CCC, I would do my 111 special, $111 for a single session. I don't normally do that. You didn't know I was going to do that, but I heard to do it, so I am.
Well, thank you.
And that's a private one. That's where we do where I have my soul's a 4, so I'm great at taking chaos and figuring out where that originates so that we can put the puzzle pieces together and really get the best result for you. I do that, the Awaken to the Power Within 90-day group coaching. A clear takes place every week in that. There's a topic, there's a Q&A, there's a clear, and there's a healing. So that is like the variety pack. And if you aren't interested in an individual session, heck, if you message me, I'll let you into next week's Thrive During the Holidays 4-day. Why not? I'm at it. If that interests any of you, you'd actually get an idea of what my work looks like in the group type setting.
Hey, it's been a lot like Christmas.
Yeah, well, Mele Kaliki Maka and happy
Everything.
Well,
happy
what's
solstice.
wonderful is you also get the recordings, so you get, because you'll get something released each time because you're different each time you listen to it. And so I find I even go back to the ones that I did 4 months ago. And everyone, like if I have any anxiety, I'll go back and listen to it. It's only 10 minutes. And it's like a total shift.
Wow.
Oh, the other day I was really sore when I was doing yoga, and I'm like, practitioner, listen to their own clear inflammation. These aren't really me as a personality. I can listen to them. There was years where I couldn't listen to my own voice. So I know it's really not Jade in the house.
Mhm.
All right, so clearing any interference between you and living a 5D life in 2018? Is that what, okay, hang on. I might zone out. I need to, living 5D. We're just gonna go living 5D. 2018 is what's coming. So, you know, a little sooner than that might be okay too, right? All right, so sit back and relax. If you're driving, please wait to listen to this until you're home. Yet if you can sit back and relax right where you are, we're going to ask that you have agreement from all levels of you to replace any interference between you and living in fifth dimensional consciousness with your divine self resonance. Again, your divine self is that highest consciousness of you. It's your I am presence and above. And that energy will literally transcend the entirety of the interference between you and living in a 5D experience. When we do a clear, we only can remove what is disconnecting, harmful, hurtful, sabotaging, anything that is no longer needed in your evolution. So the question is, do you have agreement to replace the interference between you and living fifth dimensionally in a fifth dimensional consciousness with your divine self resonance? You'll get a yes or a no. Once you have your yes, we now ask to call in your spirit team, your angels, your guides, all of your loving, supportive, positive ancestors, the archangels, ascended masters, the great white brotherhood and sisterhood, all 7 of the sacred rays, all the higher celestials, the 144,000 unknown angels, all of the star systems, all of the benevolent ETs, all of the energy available to you in your system to support you as you set safe, sacred space right where you are. We ask your thinking mind to take a mini vacation. Its entire job as we do this clear is to watch the energy change. We call in your higher self, that drop down from the creative source, whatever that is for you, God, the divine, the universe, whatever creator energy is. We ask that your higher self connect into your body mind, supporting the energy field where all learning, change, and behavior happens, and supporting your inner child. We remind your body mind that anything you need to know, learn, or remember from this interference energy between you and living in 5D, all of the wisdom learnings will be stored in your Akasha for use whenever you need it. If there's anything that you need to know in this life experience, you'll become aware of it in the next few days, either as a thought, a synchronicity, or a life experience. We now go to the mantle of source, and we ask your scouts to come in. Your scout energy is energy, your higher consciousness energy that I can direct and ask to work for you. And we also ask your divine self-resonance, that I am presence and above your highest consciousness, that super high vibrational resonance of you to come in. So I ask your scouts to locate and your divine self to follow behind, transcending and replacing the entirety of the interference between you and living fifth dimensionally in a fifth dimensional consciousness in this experience. We ask your scouts to find the energy and your divine self to transcend and replace it in all energy bodies now. As your scouts locate, your divine self transcends and replaces the interference, whether it is unknown or known, inactive or active. We ask your scouts to locate your divine self to transcend and replace the entirety of the interference in all aspects of mind. We request that your scouts locate and your divine self transcends and replaces the entirety of the interference between you and living in 5D consciousness throughout all consciousness now. We now request that your scouts locate your divine self transcends and replaces the entirety of the interference between you and living in 5D consciousness throughout all time, space, and space memory now. We thank your scouts and your divine self for totally and completely finding and replacing the entirety of the interference between you and living in fifth dimensional consciousness. We now ask your divine self to heal with the support of the Ho'omana Loa symbols from Hawaii and the 7 sacred rays to heal any wounds, misalignments, dis-ease of energy, disconnections, or breaks in your light grid that were created by this old interference. We ask that healing to begin now. As the healing continues in the background, with ease and grace and just the right timing for you, we now ask your divine self to awaken the divine energies inside you, the good ways of being, feeling, and experiencing life that are your emotional birthright. We ask your divine self to awaken anything that is dormant, offline, or suppressed by this old interference energy. We ask your divine self to awaken your fifth dimensional consciousness, your expanded awareness, your peace, your understanding, your willingness, your confidence, your high self-esteem, your centeredness, your groundedness, your embodiment, the ways of experiencing life that are feeling good, happy, joyous, inspired, elated, blissful, delighted. As the divine energies inside you awaken, they awaken throughout your entire expanded chakra system. The entire 144,000 light points. Awaken with your divine energies now. We will call it through your connected physical body chakras. We awaken all the energies in your grounding chakra, your root, your sacral, your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, your third eye, your crown, your entire upper chakras, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Awakening all the divine energies inside you now with ease and grace. We now ask your divine self to lock in and actualize. The actualization of your divine self embodies. We ask your divine self to anchor, establish, and maintain, creating a maximal communion, a communication between you and your divine self resonance. Feel it. As you hold more and more and more of your divine self embodied, feel your natural state of connected, calm, peaceful, with access to the beautiful ways of being and feeling and experiencing life that are your birthright. It's now time to thank your scouts, your divine self, your spirit team, and yourself for allowing this clearing, healing, and awakening today. Remember, you are infinite, connected, intuitive, expressive, loved and loving, powerful and worthy, creative and deserving. You are safe and you belong, as you are grounded and present always, in all ways. And so it is. When this clear experience feels total right and complete for you, as you remain connected, grounded, and in your body, from your heart, awaken. And when it feels right, open your eyes and come back into the present moment.
Oh, I'm unmuted. Oh, well, thank you so much, Jade.
You're welcome. That was fun.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to share anything?
Does anybody want to share how they felt after that, or is there anything more, Bob and Noel?
Yeah,
Share.
I didn't want to come back.
But it is you.
It is you, yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Looks like Shanti has something to say. Oops.
Well, I'm just very grateful. That was a wonderful birthday gift. Thank you very much for that.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for the opportunity. I would do it all day, every day.
Thank you. I just want to say, I just came off of a week-long class of taking sound vibrational healing, and then drove from Denver back to here, just walked in for this, and it just kind of settled everything in, and I don't know, it just feels like all the puzzle pieces are falling together.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
From the chat, Nicole said, wow, lovely, yummy. So, and I'm also going to right now, let's see, I'm going to unmute everyone. So unmute all.
Yeah.
So if there's anyone that would like to chime in that, oh, Jody, for some reason you're not unmuted, but maybe you remuted yourself.
I would just like to really say that I felt very clear. No pun intended. I just.
I think Spirit had a pun when it got named. Serious. I mean, it was like, we say clear about 50 times when we're talking about clear. I'm like, this doesn't, like, it's like getting you into that mind loop, right? Like,
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jade. Wonderful.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
David and Talia?
Anything you want to share?
Oh my. Well, it was just beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm still processing. It's just so good. I almost speechless. Thank you.
Wonderful. And thank you for using the word processing, Talia. For me, it's a recalibration. So many of us, and this is actually where CLEAR came from. Forgot about that part, Kathy. I had a chiropractor friend who's an energetic man and works with a lot of people in Ashland where I live some of the time. And he's like, we got to have the healer stop dying, Jade. What do we do? And I'm like, I don't know. We'll figure it out. And seriously, 4 days later, CLEAR came. And because we embody so much as conscious and unconscious shaman, we embody so much as conscious and unconscious healers, right? Like no matter how we're doing it. And so we often are processing for others and ourselves. And for me, CLEAR is really a recalibration as a instead of a processing. And that's actually a point that I need to remember to make when I talk about it. Because and the other thing to know is if you have little mind spaces, you tell yourself it's okay. Because the program just wants to run that used to be there. And since it's now deleted by your own energy, you have space. So sometimes the critic mind, the gremlins, quiet down for people and they don't know what to do. And it's okay, tells the thinking mind it's okay. And it also tells the inner child it's okay. Because depending upon how much interference you had, if you have a lot of space, it's just more room for creativity and source and connectedness to come through.
Wow. Great. Oh, thank you. Woo.
Anyone else want to share? I just want to say, Jade, I love just watching you because I've been seeing the temperature rise on your cheeks.
Yeah.
And that happens to me every now and then. But, your eyes, there's something about your eyes that are just, and then I also think I see like an aura around you. And then I was looking a couple times going like, what kind of lighting does she got going on there? Because there's so much white light around you. I mean, it almost looked like, okay, this is going to sound, it almost looked like you had wings, like like shape, around you. So whatever.
We have lots of helpers, right? I mean, and some of us can see the helpers. Yeah.
So my
eyes have gotten bluer the more clears that I've done. The bluer and bluer and bluer and bluer and bluer and bluer my eyes get. Where people are like, you did something to your eyes. I'm like, no, I did clears.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I was really thankful to be able to experience, that will be like a clear, but you said for 2018, but I think it started now.
Oh, that's what I took that out.
You took that out. Good.
Just went for living in 5D. That's what it said.
Fabulous. So, well, let me see. We do have a few more minutes if anyone would like to share something or ask any questions, or I don't see anything here in the chat. But Jade, tell us where's the best way to get in touch with you.
Well, that's a great question. Mercury is in retrograde and life just happens sometimes. So the main website up right now is jaderehder.com, myname.com.
Mm-hmm.
And on there's a purple band that says free sample clears. You guys have been through this one. Yet clear anxiety is in there. And in my personal opinion, as naturally conscious people, the more anxiety that we clear, the more we help the collective. So that one, I give people a 21 day, do it AM or PM, and people go, oh my gosh, I had no idea I could be this calm of a being. Also in that bar when you get that. It's actually called the Empath Pain Relief Kit. You get number one way to not absorb the energy around you. We're kind of natural vacuum cleaners, sponges, and instead you're going to source from your own soul light and wisdom. That's called soul sourcing. And then there's another practice there called the drain. And the drain is one of the simplest yet most powerful things that I've ever found. I found that in a book. I give credit to whoever it was when I talk about it. It was in a shaman book. Jan Morgan is where it started, but I kind of adapted it. I'm an adapter. I'm a recipe maker, but I do my best to give credit where I found things, originally at least, and then adapted. So the drain is great because I'm really all about, if we're gonna let something out, we better right away fill it back in. So you're going to be draining and then bringing in golden light. And that one works so awesome. If you have to sit in like an airplane seat, go into a hotel bed, sit in a chair in anyone's office, or any other place that a lot of people are, if you use the drain there and then you sit down, you're in your own energy and you're not in what's left over. And so many of us are picking up leftover. So that Empath Repair Kit, those are some of the two strongest things that I've ever found to help us empaths. And I want to make sure that as many people have it as possible. If you learn it and you want to teach it and you're a practitioner, share it. If you're just someone who tells your friends, hey, I learned this, do that. So these are the kind of things, like those energy practices, it's my passion to get them out in the world. Little tiny children can do them. In fact, sometimes they're the rock stars of energy practices because they remember to do them. They're not busy with life. They're like, Jade, I was throwing that energy out and my alien has chicken pox. I was teaching a young man a process I call unplug. And I'm like, chicken pox on an alien? He had put an alien out in space. So when he sent the energy off the end of the earth, it became a chicken pox on an alien. You know, like, have fun with them while you're at it. Okay. Like,
yeah. What, Bob, do you have a question?
I do. So in the practical world of using some of the, I appreciate what you're saying about hotel bed and other places that we go to a lot of places, and sit in a lot of chairs and a lot of beds and a lot of airports. And so I really appreciate that, and as do a lot of people on this call, really appreciate that practicality. So here's another piece of that question for me. I feel strongly it's important for me to know what's going on our planet for humanity. And one of the sources I have for information is spending a half hour, 5 days a week watching Democracy Now!, which tells the truth about things that are going on in the world and commentary, intelligent commentary about that, as opposed to what people refer to as the news, because it's not. And so my question is, in that same regard of that I'm not taking on energetically that which I'm hearing, I feel I need to know and understand and evaluate that information so that I can carry my energy, my light, and whatever value I can bring to making other people aware of it. When should I be practicing this? Before I watch the show or after I watch the show?
Both.
Okay.
So I before my eyes even open in the morning, as soon as I'm consciously in this physical plane, I give thanks for being here to play another day in a physical body that can touch and feel. And then I do the drain. And once you've listened to them, everyone, you can do them in seconds. Like, I'm kind of taking you through an initiation when I take you through soul sourcing. But after you've done it, it's like boom, 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 and it's done. So it can be really fast. So I do the drain, and then I soul source, and then I get up and do my meditation or whatever. So with that, you're going to have me bring up another really easy modality called filter. And I would put a filter between myself and, of course, watch it, use your discernment. What's cool about soul sourcing is you're not picking up the emotions of the others, but you're aware of them. Your discernment gets to be so much clearer because you're unimpacted by the other people's mental, emotional, or spiritual broadcasting. So filter, I learned because I sucked fear out of the ocean after Fukushima by accident and literally was in freeze. No joke. Driving a car, I couldn't move. So, yeah. Sometimes I get taught lessons very clearly. So filter is where you set yourself up. I do it with metal. My filter is like a, like you would put a good HEPA filter on a furnace, but mine's made out of all the metals of alchemy. So, and then there's a special mesh in there and only the good stuff comes into my field. I have the awareness of everything, but I'm not bringing it into me. So personally, between me and even democracy now, I would have a filter up. And that's not delete, distort, or generalize, which we all have anyway running in the background, but this is an energy filter.
Right.
Of only things that are beneficial can get into my field. This other I'm aware of.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You can put a drain between you and the TV or you and someone who's dumping stuff on you.
Thank you.
You know, people come and give you all their problems. All of you have those.
Yes.
Yeah, you just put it out in front, like a 70-year-old woman go, I have this remote one. It's in front of me. So instead of them throwing their pain up on me, it just goes right into that drain. It's amazing. They feel better. I feel good.
There's a phone call today that would have been helpful too. Yeah.
So
thank you.
You're welcome.
Over to you.
Jade, there was just one more thing that I had taken notes on when we talked about what we could share on this call, and it was about soul overlays.
Oh, yeah, kind of like how I'm looking at things really different. Like now, in 5D, I'm experiencing, I'm not afraid of anything anymore. So when the reptilian comes into my space 3 times, I let this being touch me and do a healing on me and heal the reptilian in me. Because like we're all one, right? So like this soul overlay bit, we had a lot of walk-ins for a long time. But now I'm seeing coexistences and a soul overlay. And sometimes we have to recalibrate the imprint so that they can coexist in harmony. And if it's a negative overlay, that's one thing, but most of these overlays are very positive and they're here to support the being and evolving because they've evolved to the point where they need another DNA imprint.
So it's not a walk-in though.
Not a walk-in.
This is like a veil that's an assistant. Instead
it's an assistant. Yep. It's like an embodied assistant.
And is that what you're seeing is getting more people into 5D? Is that how
I'm seeing more people who are in 5D have that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you if it isn't a requirement. It's just like a booster.
Oh, cool.
Is what I'm perceiving at this point.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you can my Facebook, my personal page is where the vast majority of things take place at jaderehder.com or jaderehder.com. Jade Rehder, and then I have business pages with Jade Rehder also. And then the Empath group, Step Into Your Power.
And you're part of our Facebook community as well, CCC. So always feel free to post things there. We always appreciate that.
Yeah, I try to be really respectful of other people's groups. I thank you. Now I know.
We're all about supporting each other, so we have to lift each other up. We're not about, so, I mean, if you're going to be selling Ray-Ban sunglasses, we're going to have a talk,
Yeah. It'd be Maui Gyms. Come on,
she's in Hawaii now, but she's already put CCC on her calendar for next year.
I do. So. It is. I could even show you if I could.
Okay, Janice wants to jump in here one more time here. Shanti.
Thank you. When you were talking about just now the soul overlays, and you said it sounds like some people, it happens to some people, but not everyone. What do you think that about the idea that you're a teacher, and so they're coming to you because you're teaching them as well? They may not come to someone that isn't a teacher that may be in 5D, but they may not, their purpose might not be as a teacher healer. And I'm assuming people still have different roles, or they play different parts in all dimensions. So maybe you're getting a lot of them because you're teaching them just like you're teaching people in 3D. What do you think?
That feels really congruent. It really does. In my experience, people here are teachers on one to support each other and teach the teachers, like the Hopi legend, the Hawaiians have the same legend. And, you know, 144,000 light warriors with their shields balanced come to earth in her time of need to teach the teachers with harm to none and, you know, no dogma involved. I do feel like what you're saying is, like, even the people who I'm seeing with them are teachers, and they're teaching that other energy, or that other energy is teaching them. I see it going both directions, depending upon, and kind of just like numerology. If I look at a couple people's numerology, you know, one's teaching one thing and one's teaching one another. So it's a way to evolve more consciousness more quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They're all in grad school, kind of.
Yes, that's it.
Art school.
Yeah.
We thought it'd be
Art school. Here we are.
The one other thing I wanted to say too is Jade and okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that for me, Jade is not a teacher. She's a great facilitator, because when I'm with her, I find all the answers, but she doesn't give me any.
Oh, I love it.
Simple as that.
Yeah, I do my best, and I honor everyone as a teacher, especially in my group coaching work. Sometimes the participants will give each other something that isn't within my consciousness, right? So that is really joyous for me. Thank you so much, Guy.
Good point. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Kathy, do you want to close?
The other thing, I met Jade at least 10 years ago, and at that time she and I were working with a group out of Fort Collins, and she is an owner, one of the only owners in the country of an Atlantean crystal light bed that was channeled through. It's created with Vogel crystals and light, and so not only was she already on a journey, she's got some tools that helped her really escalate her capacity to touch that higher realm and to bring it to you. So when she holds the space, it's very powerful. Is that a good way to explain that bed?
That's a good way to, yeah.
Is it portable?
It's more portable than when he created it. But it's not super portable. I don't have it in Hawaii this time. I had it here when I lived here before. I don't need her in my presence to access it. I was in Fort Collins before I left for Hawaii and visited the physical creator. There's one who channeled it in and the one who built it. So we got the channel and the engineer working together, and then the Lemurian over here going, why do I have an Atlantean bed, and why am I the first that they let him have? Someone goes, you think you're not Atlantean, huh? And I go, oh crud, I gotta blowing that up with them. Big responsibility for what I was doing too there. And you know, it'll take you into a 0 point space real quickly, and I guess that's what I carry with me, is a lot of that 0 point work, so that I can be in that harmonious spot that allows people to access their greater selves in an easy way.
Thank you. The one other plug is the way that I was introduced to Catherine Skaggs, who is that incredible artist, was through Jade, because Jade used to live in Broomfield, and I got to go to events at her office in Broomfield, and Catherine Skaggs stuff was there. So, and that started, and hopefully she'll come to CCC this year too.
Oh, good.
Oh, I think I could help facilitate
Yeah,
that.
I've been working on that too.
Oh, I'll just say, honey, come, you're rooming with me. Come on.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Well, we have a couple of the planners for next year, weavers, what do you call yourself, heart weavers?
Indeed.
Bob and Darlis on the line, so hint, hint, hints.
Yeah.
Be wonderful.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Well, we probably should be true to our time. We thank everyone for being here tonight. I'm going to tell you that for you, that those of you that are familiar, we will be posting this on our CCC Facebook page. If you want to join that page, just Google or Facebook CCC, those initials, co-creators, and it should pop up. And ask to join, and we'll join you. It will also be on our website. On our website
Within a couple of days.
Within a couple of days. Co-creatorsconvergence.com. No apostrophe s's or anything dashes. Just co-creatorsconvergence.com. And so it'll be YouTubed, and it'll be public. So Jade, you'll be getting that in the next 24 hours. You can use it however you want. And I just to share it. And I'm going to time mark where you started that clear for us.
That's a great idea. That'll be fun. Yeah, I'll make sure I get that out into my communities so that they know more about CCC too.
Thank you.
Fabulous, fabulous. So I'm going to stop the recording.